We've got tips and recipes for healthy living. So for fun and inspiration, come and join us in the raw food world.
But our jing, here's what jing is. If you've ever seen the runt of a litter, it's jing that's missing from the runt. The runt didn't get enough jing, and that's why it's the runt. A lot of us are like runts because of the society we grew up in, the way we were born. So it has the ability to replenish that and take us from being the runt into being sort of the high school quarterback. It's that ability to rebuild that core energy that allows us to thrive. And a lot of us have been looking for ways to do that, and it really does take some of the more unique substances on the earth to do that. And I think we all can get that. The real magic is going to be in that rare and difficult to obtain stuff. It's almost like a quest where you seek out in nature the most rare and unique substances, because those are the ones that have the magical elements that allow us to be regenerated.
So a lot of people, they're going to see this video and they're going to be like, okay, so colostrum is meant for a cow in the first 6 months. Like, how can that benefit us? It's like, it's not even ours. And first off, and we're way past that stage, developmental stage of that first 6 hours of.
That's a really good question. Okay, again, in a perfect world, I don't think that would be necessary, but we're not in that perfect world right now. If I could get a team of very healthy women to start producing colostrum for us, I would probably go for that. But that's not realistic right now. And what's the best alternative for us to rebuild ourselves? Again, colostrum is one of those things that's been studied all around the world. The administration of bovine colostrum has been shown in countless studies to be massively beneficial in many different ways, not just in rebuilding the intestinal tract, not just in regenerating tissue. It's even known that topically, and I think you'll like this, Matt, I've seen some of your videos, I know you like to play with things that are topical, like clays. If you're into putting things on your skin, colostrum contains a really unique molecule called TV4, which heals scars, or heals wounds with no scarring. In fact, we have a great photograph of a woman who had terrible burns to her face and used colostrum topically. And in the photo we have, she's holding a picture of her face burned, and her face is now perfectly healed without scars, and it seems impossible. She did that with colostrum. These kind of things have been studied around the world, and we know that it works. Again, in a perfect world, would you need bovine colostrum? Maybe not. But we're not in that world. We're in a world where we need to find strategies to heal ourselves completely. Why? Not just for ourselves, but because we need to strengthen humanity again. We need to give birth to children who can really take care of the planet. And if we're not well, we're not going to bring healthy offspring into the planet. So all of us have a duty to rebuild ourselves, because we need to rebuild the ecosystem. We damaged the ecosystem significantly. Now it's time to heal ourselves. It's going to come through synergistic support with the animal kingdom, not just rejecting the animal kingdom, in my opinion. I feel that there's a really intelligent way we can work with the deer. I feel there's a really intelligent way we can work with the cow. What doesn't work is factory farming. What doesn't work is mistreatment. What doesn't work is antibiotics and hormones in the animals. That doesn't work. What does work is finding a cruelty-free, sustainable medicine that we can take from the animal in exchange for the treatment that they receive. A loving exchange of farmer and the animal that they husband. That's beautiful, and that's how it was meant to be. What's happened is we fell very far away from that over the last few decades. Now we're promoting a lifestyle that brings that back in with the love and the respect and the reverence for the animal and for the medicine it can produce. And we see that in all our ancestors. We actually see that our ancestors knew that and that they worked with animals in that way.
Huh. So do you think it's actually possible to rebuild? I mean, we're past that first 6 to 12 hours when we were first born. You think that a colostrum and other products also can actually work and do this?
I really do believe that they can, and I feel that healing doesn't, of course, come from a product. Healing comes from within. Healing, our bodies are self-healing. However, some of the hormone systems, some of the functions of our body shut down over time because of our unique situation on the planet, because of the amount of pollution that we're dealing with on the planet, because of the amount of trauma that we've been through as humans, because of the nutritional situation of the planet. We do need to work with unique foods at this point if we want unique results. We want unique results. In other words, people regenerating themselves, that's not common. That doesn't mean it's impossible. People healing from deep things, not common. doesn't mean it's impossible. However, if you want those unique results, you need to work with unique foods and medicines. And so I think that's what we're looking at here, are unique medicines that can do things and have been scientifically shown to do things that maybe lettuce doesn't do and celery doesn't do and nuts just don't do. Those are great foods, but they don't have those components that rebuild us deeply. I do believe that things like deer antler and colostrum rebuild us deeply, and I personally work with them on a pretty regular basis. And so I believe that from my experiences with them, and combining my experience with the knowledge base that I've built has made me really confident.
Let's say like a guy like me who lost the who didn't lose. Okay, let's say a guy like me who wasn't breastfed, didn't get the colostrum, and then let's say, for example, Angela gets pregnant, and within the first 12 hours of when she has that colostrum, and let's just say I were to drink that, because she's gonna be so abundant, it's gonna be crazy. I'm not saying I'm gonna do this; it's just a thought. I mean, I miss my window, but does this have the ability to like do something so powerful that it might just like
reformat you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a reformat. If you have the opportunity to do that, I think that's really beautiful. It's funny because culturally we have so many inhibitions. Culturally there's so many things that aren't appropriate to talk about. But yeah, I think that would be an amazing thing to do. I think that would be very good for your relationship. I think that would be good for her. I think it would be bonding for everybody. Amazing that women can produce food from their bodies. That's powerful. These kind of things are not unheard of. We just don't talk about them. Example, very common for women throughout time to eat their placenta after birth. Very common for the family to eat the placenta together. In fact, very common for the entire tribe to eat the placenta together. Now today we don't talk about things like that. We get grossed out, we get shy, we get funny, we turn red if things like that come up. These kind of things are pretty sensible. I think between a man and a woman there's all kinds of things shared, and I think that's beautiful. And if you have the opportunity for human colostrum, the stuff that your body was designed for, that's a precious, precious elixir, rare on the earth and very wise. Why does she produce it for 12 hours before birth? Maybe it's for dad.
Okay, now let's say she didn't get colostrum when she was growing up. Could she drink her own milk?
Ooh, good question. I think that's an interesting question. I never considered that. Yes, of course she can. Of course she can. Particularly her own colostrum. Again, you have this 12 hours before the birth, as well as right up to it. Some women go on producing colostrum for a long time. I think that'd be really wise. One of the interesting things I came across is in my studies of probiotic organisms and bacteria and how they affect the immune system. I learned that there are people who've traveled into remote parts of the world and extracted breast milk from women, say as an example in the high Andes in South America, extracted their breast milk and actually cultured bacteria out of it and turned that into probiotics for people here. Why? Because there's unique strains there. Yeah, your own breast milk would be fantastic. I mean, if it was culturally acceptable and commercially viable, I would definitely produce a human breast milk product. I don't know if the FDA is going to allow me to bring that into the marketplace anytime soon.
Okay, so this is a key time, like when you're first born, those first 12 hours, and you're saying there's potential to heal ourselves by doing it that one time during that 12 hours before when she gets pregnant or is about to birth. So let's say a person like me had the ability to get this on an ongoing basis. Mm-hmm. Is that just like defeating the purpose, or is it just that one time is what we need?
Interesting. No, you actually can utilize and get value from colostrum on a long-term basis. And just like with deer antler, what we see is that the longer someone uses it, the better it is because of the growth factors. See, if you remember, there's many things in the colostrum we need. However, as adults using colostrum, one of the main benefits we're going to get are the growth factors. If you take a dose of growth factors one time, is there a benefit? Of course. But what really makes it work? It's using it over time. That's what allows the body to deeply rebuild itself. So actually, we want to expose ourselves to small doses long term rather than short term big doses. The longer we use products like this, the better they get. Deer antler, as an example, short-term use is very stimulating. It makes us quite virile. It excites us and increases our metabolism. But it's long-term that it increases longevity.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at the Raw Food World.